Martha is very present and involved with it from the beginning. She's very much on the ground with them, with the No Name League, fighting against the Raven Union. I think she's really found her purpose in this struggle. It's like it liberated her and enlivened her and like given her a very strong sense of self. And I think it's kind of allowed her to find like a simplicity that she didn't know she was looking for.
Yeah, so he, at the beginning of season 2, we find him promoted to CIA station chief back in London. And against his advice, the CIA decide to back and form an alliance with the Raven Union. And I think that is an extremely tough moral position for Thomas to take and to carry out, because really he knows who the good guys and who the bad guys are in this situation. And I think that further complicates his dynamic with Martha, because obviously she is very, very clearly impassionedly fighting for the No Name League. So his hand in it is strangely passive, but also quite active. So I think he's in quite a tricky position for the entirety of season 2.
Yeah, I mean, they're in the middle of a war, and I think that there's elements to that create an internal conflict within Martha, where she sees what the point of the struggle is, but like questions the means, questions her participation in it. I don't think Martha is someone who relishes violence, and yeah, it's definitely like a sticking point within her.
Yeah, I think that's something that Thomas is not comfortable with doing. Even from the first episode of the first season, we see how uncomfortable he is with that. And I think he slowly accepts that he's going to have to be around that more. But ultimately, I think he is not someone who would choose to get his own hands dirty. And that's, I think, on a moral standpoint, even though that's a kind of dubious moral standpoint, get someone else to do it for you. But also, I just think he naturally would prefer not to. But yeah, I guess in season 1, we saw him kind of thrust into a position where he ended up being the violent one, which I think was kind of deeply disturbing to him. And I think that kind of, now that he's accessed that level of rage and anger, maybe that's close to the surface in him, but he definitely is more of a pen pusher than a kind of gun toter. It's very Ross and Rachel.
And Ben he like an hour ago referred to their dynamic as very Ross and Rachel.
Yeah. I'm Rachel. Obviously, I'm Rachel.
I think that it's clear, because the canon of Batman does have certain things that you're expected to stick to. I think there's certain elements of their relationship that's clear that that's where it's headed. But also something I've been thinking about recently is like, just because two people get married and have a baby together, you can know that information, that part of the puzzle, but you don't know what their relationship within that is like. You don't know if they're happy together. You don't know why they've chosen that life together. There's all these pieces that emotionally slot into just this kind of like end point that is marriage, but marriage isn't like static by any means. It's like happening every day, and how they participate in that is not written about or in the canon. And even if there is kind of this idealized version of what their marriage might have been, that's Bruce remembering it from the perspective of someone who lost his parents very young.